Yeah, I saw her walk in, and I was like, "What alternate universe am I in?" She's here like a half hour early.
Jennifer, do you hear us?
I can hear you, so don't say anything.
You should be able to hear us now. But we're live on Facebook.
But when she speaks,
Yes, we are live.
Was she speaking or something?
all I'm getting is a little bit of gibberish.
I just heard a little bit,
That's what I'm saying, it's
but I can
gibberish.
turn it up. But we're live right now, so.
Jennifer, your response was good too, by the way.
Thank you.
I read it. I thought it was appropriate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Hopefully it'll be helpful.
Okay. I'll let her know. No, I'll let her know.
It's gibberish.
Okay, no. Yeah. Usually, if that was the case, typically the administrative coordinators and stuff are gone by 5, so those are the Monday too. But yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to our City Commission meeting of February 3rd. Appreciate the fact that you guys are here. We'll call the meeting to order.
Jennifer,
and
can you
I'll
put
look
your
to
camera down a
Nikki
little bit?
for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. If you would please rise.
Thank you, Mayor. As we begin our meeting together this evening, let us all take a moment to reflect together, each according to our own individual beliefs and intentions, and offer a moment of silence, or maybe an unlit cigar, in honor of Bob Norman Barber, a longtime resident and former Dunedin City Commissioner. May Bob's loved ones and the Dunedin community feel comfort in this time of loss and strength and hope to face the next day. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Nikki. That was so good. He will definitely be missed. All right, we have no presentations tonight, so that's a good thing, but we'll go into citizen input, and this is a time for folks to speak to anything that is not already on our agenda. So if you'd like to come forward to speak to anything that's not on our agenda, give us your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes. Clock is above my head. Anyone?
I think,
Welcome.
Thank you. Mayor, I was here 2 weeks ago, and I bring it to your attention again. My name is Stephen High, at 1601 Santa Ana Drive in Dunedin. I'm trying to make a point here, but it's not getting across strong enough, so I'm gonna try again tonight. I was attacked in my yard this morning by 2 pit bulls. 6:30 in the morning, the gentleman dropped the leash, then he dropped the other one and stood back and watched. I fought 2 dogs with a stick in my yard as I backed into my front door. I brought this to your attention, and we keep saying it's a personal issue. It is a personal issue. I don't want to fight a pit bull. In Hammock Park this morning, there's a gentleman in a wheelchair coming through our walkway in Osprey Loop. Do you know how Osprey Loop even got paved? That was by Pat Jennings. She was friends of the Hammock for almost 20 years. Her husband has Parkinson's. It was so people in wheelchairs could go through our park. A man in a wheelchair, one leg this morning, was charged by, I'm going to say 10, 12 dogs. Nowhere to go. The people that owned the dogs stood right on the walkway, didn't move, didn't acknowledge it. I'm pleading with you, Mayor. There's no plausible deniability. I'm letting you know we have a problem here. He couldn't budge. Pat Jennings' dog was attacked, 50 stitches. She doesn't come back. Sue Humphreys is in charge of our Parks Commission. Jumped by 2 pit bulls, knocked her to the ground. If you know Sue Humphreys, she's about this big, 70 pounds, 83 years old. Thought she was going to die. My dog's been attacked 6 times. I talked to the police, the deputies, it's not their job. They're waiting for a catastrophic event, blood or a body, to respond. You've been at the park and you've been quoted as saying on a Sunday, dogs are off leash. I don't go there anymore. I've asked you folks about this, and it saddens me to think that none of you go there and know there's a problem. There is a problem. I will be at a lawyer's office tomorrow morning to see who is liable for it. I'm trying to let you know that you're liable. This isn't a dog park. This is a park where we can walk our dogs and train them. There's a woman with a pit bull. She guards the walkway. You cannot enter the park unless you ask her permission to pull her dog aside. 6 attacks in the last 8 days, 3 in 1 day. They show up and the same answer every single time. And they're wonderful. We don't see any blood. We don't see a dead dog. There's nothing we can do. I keep asking you for help. If somebody hires an attorney, which is going to happen, and the attorney goes through the records and sees, I've been coming to you for 2 years, and for 2 years you've done zip, the attorney's going to have a field day. We're going to dig out our checkbook. I live here. I'm trying to avoid this. Help. I don't know how else to bring it to your attention. 608 attacks since 05. 165 children under 13. Dogs go for their faces. Do you want that responsibility or liability? I mean, you're not doing anything. You could end it today. I'm asking you, no more off-leash in Hammock Park. None. 0. I'm not saying ban the dogs. No more off-leash, period. Help.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else wish to come forward? Okay. So Jorge, we did talk about this at the last meeting. I do want to just say that we have been sending out the sheriff, and they have been monitoring, and so it isn't that we're doing nothing, but we have to bring all the parties together, both the off-leash people that want them off-leash and the on-leash. So I see Jennifer is, out of town right now, but she's on Zoom with us, joining us with Zoom. And I know that she and Teresa and Vince have been working on some things, so I won't call you at the moment to do this, but if you can, please give us an update on what our next steps are.
Yes,
Not-
and we
not
have
this
been
very
looking at some,
second, but-
we have been looking at some other opportunities elsewhere in the city to have that.
Okay. And obviously, we'll ask Teresa to be working with the sheriffs. I believe that the sheriff does want to help, and they are monitoring, so you'll give us an update?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that we don't usually talk about this up here, but I am really concerned about it. I mean, I think we're doing something, from my understanding, we're doing something fairly unique with the off-leash thing that, technically even isn't in sync with the county animal service rules. I think we need a little sense of urgency about what we're doing here. And I'd like to understand when we're going to have something concrete, because, there's a part of me that just wants to say, let's stop the off-leash till we understand it, because, do other communities do this, Vince?
I don't want to, I do not
Okay,
want to.
that's fine, but.
Sorry, I do
but
not want
we-
to do the back and forth. I've got to stick to the agenda.
I understand, but I do feel like there has to be a sense of urgency with this, and, I don't want
And
somebody
that's
hurt.
fine, and I think you're hearing that,
Dog's not under
Jorge.
control. Trust me, I used to sign off on dangerous dog things as animal services director when I worked for the county. And you saw horrific things. So I just don't want us to be in a position where, we're not having some urgency about a serious situation.
I think you've heard that, Jorge. Jennifer, I see her, she's nodding her head, so I think we are treating it as an urgent. I think we were treating it as it was urgent as of 2 weeks ago. I just don't know what the answers are. Yes. I'm sorry, we're not going to do, I'm sorry. We can't do the back and forth. Thank you.
But I would like to know in the next week or so, like, what's our timeline? What's our plan? Because because again, there's a part of me, and I don't want to discount the people that are using this service. I really don't. But on the other hand, I don't want to be in a serious situation. We're all going to be like, ugh, yeah, we probably should have acted quicker.
No, and I get it, and I think our staff gets it, so let them put together the plan to tell us, and I think they've heard that it's a sense of urgency. Thank you.
I agree with the commissioner.
And I also agree. I think that what's going to happen is something bad. And I do totally agree that it's urgent. He comes up here and he comes up here. So I agree with the commissioner's comments, and we need to do something about this as very quickly as possible.
I'm assuming you agree as well,
I do.
as do I. Okay,
Understood.
thank you. Anyone else wish to come forward to speak to any item that is not already on the agenda? Okay. We're going to move to action items. We have a start item, Downtown Dunedin Merchants Association Mardi Gras Celebration Revocable License Agreement. It is a start item. I need a motion to add it to the agenda.
So moved.
Commissioner Gao, is there a second?
So moved. Second.
Vice Mayor Kynes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, Vince?
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. Vince Gizzi, Parks and Recreation Director. As I'm sure you're all aware, the DDMA has held Mardi Gras on Main Street for the past 29 years, excluding 21 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and we are all really excited to have another good-sized event back in our city. The event date and time will be Saturday, February 26th from 12 noon to 11 p.m. The parade will begin at approximately 7 p.m. down Douglas Avenue from TD Ballpark to Skinner Boulevard. The corresponding road closure previously approved under the blanket road closure request will commence at 5 a.m. Saturday, February 26th, and remain in place until 7 a.m. Sunday morning, February 27th. The sheriff's deputy will extend their shift until 2 a.m., 3 hours past the end of the event, to ensure all patrons leave the downtown area in orderly fashion. The DDMA will pay all the city-related costs and provide a liability insurance policy in the amount of $1 million, in addition to a $500,000 liquor liability policy, naming the city as an additional insured. And I have really good news for Jack this evening. I talked to him a little bit before the meeting. The check, the ARPA check for Wines and Blues is $15,000, and that was signed off on today by myself, and the check will be cut tomorrow. And the Mardi Gras check will also be cut for $27,500. So that's good, and that will help pay these costs. City Attorney Nikki Day has reviewed the agreement, and it has been approved as to form. City staff is recommending City Commission approval of the revocable license agreement with the Downtown Merchants Association for the Mardi Gras 2022 celebration. If there's any questions, Jack from the DDMA is here, as well as Larry Peterson, our special event coordinator.
So who was the commissioner that caught the foo bar on Tuesday? Good job, our attorney. All right, so any questions for Vince in any way? Normally, this is under consent agenda, but because it was a change, that's why it's here. Okay. Anybody from the public wish to speak to this item? Jack, you got anything you want to say? If you do, you got to come to the microphone.
Hello all, Jack Batesall, the president for Downtown Dunedin Merchant Association. We are excited. We got everything in line. One of the star items that I'd like to add is that we did add Broadway to, we added an additional stage on Broadway to be able to draw people onto that Broadway. It was a very big, long discussion that's been going on with Broadway to be able to try to draw attention in that direction. So you all know the standard where the stages are, but I just wanted to make a mention that we did spend some time with the merchants on Broadway, the actual property owners as well, and we've come to an agreement to be able to get the stage over there, and they're all very excited
That's awesome.
to see what we can do there and to be able to draw attention to that.
Well, it's great to see Tracy and Kurt be a sponsor or participate, so that.
Yep, and
that's-
Joe Kokalakis was a big part of that.
That's
as well.
great. Great to hear. All right.
So we look forward to it.
Thank you,
all.
Jack. I know it'll be great. Okay, can I have a motion to approve this agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor and Commissioner Tornga, any final comments from anybody?
Well, it's going to be different. We're going to a Saturday, and we've heard about that for a lot of years. So, Mardi Gras is famous in Dunedin, and so we'll see you at Mardi Gras. Thank you, Jack. Thank you all to the Downtown Merchants, Vince, everybody that worked so hard to put on this event. Thank you.
I think we can all ditto that.
I agree.
And hopefully we'll have opening day of spring training the next day. Get that lockout over.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Okay. We'll move on to our first reading of ordinance 2202, approving and authorizing the execution of development agreement for the Jay's Hotel on the Causeway. Nikki, I'm going to hold off on the reading because I'm not going to do a motion at this point.
Okay, no problem.
I'm gonna
Mayor.
wait.
I'll be ready whenever you would like me to read
Okay.
it.
So Jennifer, I know that you've joined us because you were the person negotiating the development agreement. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to give us some comments and share with your thoughts on the agreement.
Good evening, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you for letting me attend via Zoom. I'm in Cocoa Beach at a city managers conference, so getting a lot of value here, and I very much appreciate it. So the negotiation regarding the Blue Jays Hotel was really what it came down to is density. And the permitted underlying density is 50 units per acre, I believe, right around there. Can you hear me, Mayor?
It's
need to-
hard. Can you turn it up? Yeah.
I can put my microphone.
I mean, we can hear you. It's a little difficult.
Okay. So the Blue Jays and Doug Anderson have most certainly been excellent negotiators, and truly want to do what's best for both the team and the city of Dunedin. The negotiation really came down to a matter of density on the site, the permitted underlying density versus the density permitted via a development agreement. We arrived at 68 units within the development. The Blue Jays really wanted 75. They felt that 68 was the bare minimum that they would need in order to move forward. And so staff agreed with that. It was as far as the aesthetics go, and I know this is about the development agreement, but they did make some changes to address the adjacent residential communities, to address some of the setbacks from the adjacent roadway, and other such matters that were important. Actually, the ingress, egress, as well, and the traffic circulation on the site. And so I think it was a very successful negotiation. The Blue Jays really got the density the bare minimum that they needed, and the city got a very well-designed hotel, I feel, as well as the crosswalk. And I know that there have been some comments on the crosswalk on Causeway Boulevard, and the point to focus on there is that it's subject to approval by the county as well. And so specifically where the crosswalk will go right now is subject to approval by the county as well. So what you're looking at this evening is the development agreement itself, and only the development agreement. They're going to have to come back through design review as well when you have a look at all the elevations of the hotel and other items as well. So Mayor, I think it's been a very good negotiation, as I said, and staff is recommending approval of this development agreement.
Thank you, Jennifer. And just to remind, my colleagues as well as any folks that are listening or in the audience, we are only here to talk about the development agreement. The project will go through the normal process of design review, architectural review, traffic, all of those different things will go through that. This is simply the base agreement of the maximum allowable density and et cetera that Joey will explain. So that's what we're here to talk about. So Joey, go right ahead.
Good evening, Joseph DePasqua on behalf of the Community Development Department. So yes, the first reading tonight of Ordinance 2202. I'd like to, if I could, just walk you through, sorry, Justin.
Joey.
I thought you had it on share.
No, we took it off real quick. Sorry, everybody. Get this over to Jennifer. All right. Oops, don't make me jump ahead.
Thank you, Justin. So if I could, again, I'd like to walk you through the basis of the project itself, sort of an overview of the project, talk a little bit about the framework for the density and the underlying land use and those factors and how we arrived here today. And I have a number of exhibits, which are also exhibits to the development agreement. So by way of background, if you're just looking at the vicinity, I think most folks are familiar, but the property is two separate parcels. One is address 491 Causeway Boulevard. The other one is vacant, has been vacant. I believe it's never been developed, but it does have an address of 469 Causeway Boulevard. They're located on the south side of Causeway Boulevard, just a little bit west of the alternate 19 or Bayshore Boulevard. Real briefly here, we have a survey, boundary survey of both parcels. I've carved out in red the two parcels. You can see them. The one that does have the car wash on it, the car wash facility at the moment is on that property. And then the one to the direct west, the smaller one, is vacant. Just for reference again, this is the street view. This was actually captured in last December. So this is what the property looks like at 491 Causeway Boulevard. Again, you can see the car wash facility, existing single driveway access into the site where folks go in and use those facilities. Moving to the west, this is the vacant parcel that is addressed 469 Causeway Boulevard. So here, what we have is a property, both properties are sitting now under our new comp plan in the CHHA-R&S land use, and that is Coastal High Hazard Area Retail and Services. This property in the previous comp plan was commercial general, you may recall. So from a land use perspective, you've got the consistent land use across both parcels. And you can see that a lot of the neighboring properties are also the same land use. Moving to the zoning designation of the property, both of them are they both are in the FXM zoning district category. So again, consistency across both properties when you're looking at development. Project overview. So as the city manager mentioned, the applicant is looking to enter into development agreement with the city to build a 3-story, 68-room boutique hotel on the subject properties. The new hotel, and again, this will come back to you through a design review, but for the purpose of framing what we're talking about here in development, the new hotel will consist of 2 floors of guest rooms over ground floor parking and those usual amenities that would come along with a hotel, meeting space, dining areas, staff offices, laundry facilities, and then outside the footprint of the building on the ground floor will be a swimming pool with lounging area around it on the site. Primary use, as you know, of this hotel will be by the Toronto Blue Jays for the majority of the year during both spring training and regular season, and only a small number of the rooms will be available to the general public at certain times of the year. And certainly we'll look to Charlie Wilson with the Blue Jays to probably talk in a little more detail on how that's going to work. How we arrived at the number of rooms, what's allowed using base density, and then there is an opportunity with the development agreement, which is the reason we're here this evening, to get some additional density. Again, that land use, that CHHA R&S land use category, does allow a base density of 40 units an acre. So using the math, you could do 40 units an acre times the acreage. In this case, it's 1.26 acres. With a development agreement, you can request up to 60 units an acre. So you would be looking at base density of 50 hotel rooms and a maximum, given the acreage, of 76 hotel rooms, using the alternate density, and of course, the development agreement is a necessity at that point. The proposal that is moving forward in the outlined in the development agreement, again, is a 68-room hotel, which is an 18-room increase over the base density, and you end up with approximately 54 temporary lodging units per acre developed when it finally does get built, if it gets built in that manner. The other requirement of the development agreement is that there is a need when you have a property that is in an evacuation level A, as you can imagine anything in this area would be, that there is a evacuation enclosure covenant that needs to go along with the development agreement. And so this is for an orderly and efficient evacuation should there be the need during a hurricane warning. And so that is Exhibit E to the development agreement. Again, the city attorney and the applicant's attorney did draft the development agreement and some of those exhibits. One of the exhibits to the development agreement is the proposed site plan. What you're seeing here is that exhibit. It's Exhibit C to the development agreement. You can see this is just a layout, an aerial layout, so to speak, of the site where the footprint of this is showing actually the ground floor of the hotel. So you see all the parking is underneath the building. You can see the planned pool, Causeway Boulevard to the north, and you see the entry points. You enter from the west and you exit from the east, circulating through the site. So that's an exhibit to the development agreement. Also, the proposed architectural renderings are an exhibit to, and you can see they've chosen the coastal vernacular style. You'll see this obviously in much greater detail as it goes through design review, but this is the design. They've been through their review through Architectural Review Board, and they continue to work out the small details, and that will all come back to you through the development agreement process. But the top elevation is looking at the property that's from the rear, from the Harbor Point condominiums. The bottom drawing is looking at it from Causeway Boulevard, or would be considered the north elevation. And here we have two more elevations. One would be looking at it from the east, and the other one would be looking at it from the west. So the top one would be looking at it from the Frenchy Stone Crab, for example, and the bottom one would be the vacant overflow parking for Marker One Marina. We've also provided some preliminary perspective renderings where they've taken the building and imposed it onto the, sort of the modeling of the area. You can see, this is what it'll look like from Causeway Boulevard. And you see the entry there, and the, you know, the driveway comes in behind the property, and you exit out.
Are you able to make that any bigger? Because it's very difficult to see.
I don't know if I can. That's as big as it'll get, I think, on this.
And we don't have your PowerPoint
Yeah.
to make it bigger on our own thing, so.
I don't know if I'm able.
I don't believe we were even given this perspective.
We weren't,
We were?
we weren't.
We were not?
We were not, we were not,
Yep.
yep. Because I agree, I'm trying to see what that stuff in the front is, if that's fencing or what it is.
That is a fence that will go around the pool area, I understand.
Mayor, I've got these printed out, if you guys want to pass them around.
Yeah, this is, you have one of
No,
this
it's
rendering though?
It's what's on the, it's what's on the screen.
This one?
Yeah, no, that's what we already
Look above
have.
you. Look on the screen.
Yeah.
That's not it.
That's not it. It's different. I don't think you have it.
No, you. Justin, is there a way for you all to make
It's a
this
new one.
bigger?
It's a new one.
I don't know if I can make it any bigger.
I'm asking
You're
Justin to
welcome
come out.
Pass these around if you'd like.
No? Okay, they're shaking their head.
Exit out of the full screen.
Oh, there's Jennifer though. There we go.
Yeah, because we have not seen, you're showing us something that none of us have seen, and it's like this big. I mean, it's nice, we want to see it that way, I'm appreciative of it, it's just, can't see it.
It's on there, is it, Jen?
You,
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, this is different.
That's not it.
This is what we had on our stuff.
Can't go close this.
I don't think anybody, you guys don't want this, right? This is what we already had.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
okay, that's
There you go.
better.
Okay then,
Then we can slide around a little bit.
there we go.
Does that help you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, a
much.
lot.
Are we looking for the ingress egress? Is that what you're looking at, Mayor? I'm trying to, because you're
They're
trying.
just showing us a different, more of a real-time model of what it looks like versus a flat sketch.
But he said that ingress egress went behind. It looks like it
It
goes to
does,
the.
it goes
center.
behind there.
All the way around behind.
So what you're looking at here is obviously a larger representation. I can't get the whole building onto the screen. But yes, so you've got the hotel there. What you're seeing is the wall, I think, around the proposed pool area. You can sort of see a little umbrella there. And then as we move to the west, you'll see the main ingress, the proposed main ingress from a rendering standpoint. And then the balance of the hotel would be on the other side. So you enter the site, sort of drive through between the two buildings. You'd exit from the east side of the property.
Okay.
I think I have to just go to a slideshow to get it. Move to the next one and see. So again, I know these aren't going to be very big. Let me,
Are there more of these?
there's just 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Justin, you might as well stick around.
Yeah, if you want to try to do it.
I will tell you that, and I know that we'll wait till when you go through design review, something's got to be done with that wall. Can't just be a big slab of concrete like that.
I can go a little bit bigger here. Is that okay?
So this is a rendering where you're of course looking to the east. You can see the water tower off to the side there.
Which is going to have a turtle on it pretty soon, I hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Finally.
Oh, I need to advance to the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Oh, that's
So
good.
here is here's an aerial. This is looking to the southwest. You can see Causeway Boulevard there to the right, and the Harbor Front condos to the upper part of the of the slide. Again, you can see that, now you can probably see the access point a little bit better. You see you access to the west, and then the vehicles will circle through, either go into the parking area under the buildings or exit out to the east, which is at the very bottom of the screen. You'll see the driveway there there's actually a car put in the rendering.
So it's in the middle, right? I mean, I'm seeing that the egress, it goes in, and then it sort of goes through the middle and
Right,
comes out.
the end, yeah.
But it's not behind the buildings. You said it's not behind. It's sort of in the middle.
Between the two buildings.
Right, correct.
That's correct. Here's another aerial where you're looking at it, where you're facing directly, almost directly north. You can see the Hampton Inn and the Frenchies Outpost. I think this might be the last one. Again, looking to the east, you see the water tower off there in the distance, and you can see the parking lot for Marker 1, the overflow parking in the foreground. Commissioner, here's maybe where you can see where the two buildings are separated, and you can see that's the drive aisle that sort of goes between them.
That's much better.
Back to it. So that was it with those.
Those were helpful.
Very helpful. Okay,
So
so we,
as mentioned, by the city manager, staff is recommending approval of ordinance 22-02 and the negotiated development agreement between the parties. From a previous steps and a next steps standpoint, just to recap, back in October 21st, City Commission authorized the city manager to negotiate the development agreement. That process went on, and ultimately, the draft agreement was presented to the local planning agency on January 12th, where they recommended unanimously to approve, to the City Commission to have the development agreement and the ordinance approved. Of course, first reading is taking place tonight. Second reading will take place on February 17th, if first reading is approved this evening. The developer would then, once all the signatures are on the development agreement, of course, the developer within 14 days of execution records it. And then the final step, of course, after that has all been done, is the design review process would begin from a public hearing standpoint. As I mentioned, they've begun the process essentially in front of the Architectural Review Committee recently. As January, they did have a review of the design, and they continue to make modifications to satisfy the comments by the ARC. So that process will follow with an LPA and then, of course, the two hearings in front of the City Commission.
are they going back to architectural review to show the final product? Their comments?
They've been working, we've been basically providing emails back and forth between the group, but if we feel they need to go back for another formal review, that may happen. But at the moment, the ARC has approved it with some conditions, and they've been working on making those changes.
Okay, so you are essentially in charge of ensuring that those conditions were met?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay. Just wanted us to be clear on what was going to happen. Thank you.
And the applicant has been very good. Their design team has been submitting and been very responsive. I think found that the ARC comments were really helpful and been very, very receptive to making those changes. The construction timeframes for this project. So the developer has 18 months from the effective date of the development agreement to begin construction. The completion of the project needs to be done within 36 months of the effective date of the development agreement. And of course, the development agreement, when it's recorded, the actual day it's recorded is the effective date. So that's when the clock would start. It's not when the City Commission approves it. So it'll probably be within a short time frame after the project is ultimately, the development agreement is ultimately approved by this body. So with that, that ends the staff report.
Okay, if you could take that down so that Jennifer can see everybody. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to look to my colleagues for any questions of Joey, and then I'm going to ask the applicant to come forward and say whatever he would like to say. So Vice Mayor, any questions?
Yeah,
at this
it's a real
point?
question. I read in the LPA minutes, Joey, that this is what I read, is that they were giving, there had been back and forth with the ARC, that they had been working on some modifications, and that there might be a special meeting of the ARC when that all coalesced. So I didn't understand that it was a done deal with ARC.
Well, I don't think it is a done deal. I think what happened on January 4th is exactly what the LPA heard, which is they approved it with a number of conditions and some modifications. And as they've submitted their revised drawings, that has been transmitted to the group for their continued comment. And as I mentioned to the mayor, obviously the burden will fall on us to make sure that those comments are all met before we move it through to LPA. If that does need a special meeting in the ARC, we can certainly look to do that.
I think, I do appreciate, because we saw tonight, there are added, things are changing. There's been added photographs tonight that we hadn't seen. But I like the idea that ARC would have one final swoop through it, personally.
Any questions? Other
That was my question.
Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to confirm that what I saw was correct. As far as the ingress egress, that none of that involves South Paula Drive?
No,
Right.
no, the access both in and out of the site will be off Causeway Boulevard.
Okay, all right. And as far as the agreement goes, and they're asking for a density of 68 units, all in all, what happens if we approve this and it's built and 5 years down the road, the Blue Jays decide to change their business model and it's just not working for them? What would happen to that building at that point? Right now, we're talking about dormitory for 10 to 11 months out of the year, whatever that looks like. So does this agreement allow them to turn it into a hotel? Or would it remain vacant if they decided to abandon their business model? I don't know who I addressed that question to.
Well, I think because it's within the development agreement that describes the 68 unit for primary use by the Blue Jays, that if there were to be a change to that, I assume we'd have to address the development.
Yeah,
agreement.
this, to move, you can't just, they have a period of time that's in the development agreement. So development agreement doesn't always guarantee that your project will ever start or get done. But once it starts, it needs to follow the terms of the development agreement, which specify that it's a boutique Florida Green Building certified hotel of no more than 68 rooms. That's the use.
And so to help that along, isn't it for the life of our agreement with the Jays?
Right. So this
it lasts
would
that
also
long.
be
Right.
right. So,
20
and that's,
years,
it's,
right.
right. The development agreement right now is 10, which is the city's standard under its code, but the duration of the use is committed to be based on the license agreement length between the Blue Jays and the city.
Right. So the choices 5 years from now would be either we get together and renegotiate that agreement, whatever that new agreement would look like, or the building remains vacant.
I can't say that that's, or
I
the,
guess those are the two, I guess, main options. that I'm thinking.
right, the development would not be able to proceed in a way that would violate the agreement. I can't say that market-wise, that means it sits vacant. I can't, that's not.
I'm just looking at the agreement, right? So according to the agreement, they couldn't just turn it into a hotel, right?
They
We'd
have to follow the agreement.
Right.
And so if it's for primary use by the Toronto Blue Jays Major League Club during its spring or regular season game for the duration of the license.
Okay.
So if-
I'm
yeah.
just trying to give some comfort to the
No,
residents
yeah,
that are
they-
out there that
yeah.
if they change their business model, that doesn't mean that tomorrow it becomes a hotel.
No, not for the duration of the license agreement
Right.
between the Blue Jays and the city. Absolutely, Commissioner,
So
thank
at
you
the
for.
End of that 20 years, when we renegotiate, that's still a conversation that we have, et cetera, right?
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that happens. Who are the players that are staying there? What level? I guess what I'm getting at is what we've been told now is it's only buses. The players that are going to be staying there are your entry-level AAA. I'm sorry, I'm not a baseball guy. Minor league guys that are trying to make it. And only buses. And does that mean that there'll be no cars there? We did see a rendering where there was a car in the ingress egress. So we're trying to say that it's only going to be buses in there, but yet we see a car in the rendering. So what level of comfort can we give the residents that it really is going to be no cars? Or is it only going to be, as they anticipate, up to 5, up to 10, 15 cars? In addition to the buses. I'm just trying to get an idea of traffic.
Let Joey speak.
I was, from an operational standpoint, Charlie Wilson is here from the Blue Jays. He spoke at length about that with the LPA. I certainly would defer to him on that. From a staff perspective, I can tell you we've been told that these are lower level players under development, and that by and large, they will not have vehicles, that the players will be staying there without vehicles and be bused back and forth to the player development complex. But certainly we'll let Mr. Wilson speak to that.
Well, and Joe, I mean, that aspect is true, but can you talk, Joey, though, to the aspect about how the city views parking, though, in the context of the use? So the use that's proposed is how the parking will be calculated, and the code still needs to be met with regard, and that's in the development agreement, that codes still need to be met. The development agreement is not a way to bypass the code requirement.
Right. So for the purposes of both the development agreement and its structure, as well as when it comes forward during design review, we, from a code standpoint, we will treat this as a standardly operated hotel. The parking calculation will be calculated as if it was, a typical hotel operation. There's no discounts. The traffic impact analysis will not take into account that they might be busing the lion's share of people without vehicle, who won't have vehicles. So we're going to treat it as if it was a flagged hotel from a code application standpoint. And from an operational standpoint, I think Mr. Wilson can probably shed some light on a lot of your questions about what their intentions are with the players.
And thank you, Joe. And I really think that's important that the residents hear that. But that's by the code and that's on paper. I think they're the ones that are out there living out there. And so we're adding all those cars plus bus. I think they want an idea that we're doing it by code, but what we're telling them is no more than 2 buses. Right, and actually I need to clarify that as well. I mean, how many buses are we talking about? But I'm just concerned about families, or all of a sudden we have the next level up players that I just don't want this to expand, that we start out, on day 1, here's what it looks like, and all of a sudden in year 3, we've got, all of a sudden we start to see 10, 15, 20 cars in their parking lot. And I just want to get some level of comfort on what they're anticipating at this point, without looking into the future, what that traffic looks like.
Understandable.
Is kind of where I'm going.
So when the developer and Jays come up to speak, I think they can address that.
Okay, so that's where most of my questions are at that point then, so
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
postpone. Thank you.
So, and I'm not sure I know the answer to this. Usually I don't like to ask it if I don't already know it, but I'm pretty sure. A restaurant could go at that location tomorrow, we wouldn't see it.
A restaurant.
Could a restaurant go at that location instead of a hotel we wouldn't see it as a commission
Without a development agreement.
without a development agreement?
Well, yeah, so the development agreement is triggered by the density, so a restaurant wouldn't trigger that, but a restaurant of greater than 6,000 square feet would require design review.
But under 6,000 wouldn't.
Correct.
Okay. And the intensity of traffic for a restaurant, at 6,000 square feet, that people could have by right in that area, that zoning and land use area, would, if I understand correctly, create a lot more traffic.
Yeah, I would, again, I don't want to speculate, but based on my experience looking at traffic impact analyses for greater than 30 years, yes, I would imagine a large restaurant or a larger restaurant would generate more trips than this site is.
Yeah, and I think when we've talked about this
I think that's a
before,
fair statement, yes.
that was the sense that staff gave. Restaurant would be probably the highest intensity traffic. A hotel without the Blue Jays attached to it would be almost this, not much of an increase in traffic. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. And then a Toronto Blue Jays, of course, for 20, 25 years with no car, with a lot less cars is kind of the least of the evils, so to speak, I guess, when I talk about traffic. That's kind of what I'm trying to clarify, if you think that's true.
I do. I think, I don't want to speculate because we're not at the design review, but I think when you look at what's out there now, a car wash, when you look at the impact of that today versus the hotel they're proposing, being operated the way they plan to operate is going to be, is going to actually decrease traffic versus a restaurant out there which generally has, at the very least has a high PM peak hour traffic trips, going and coming. So I think that's fair to say, but, again, without looking at how big the restaurant would be, it would be hard to tell you definitively.
Okay.
But I think your statement is probably pretty accurate.
Well, I know, obviously, big concern for traffic.
Understood.
I mean, that's it. And so people are going to have rights to build different things out there. So the thing is, what's the better balance, right? So, I mean, I think that's all in all of our heads now. There's different things that might seem like they'd be less intense, but they're actually not. So I'm just trying to parse that apart for us and for the public. The crosswalk issue, because we had a couple citizen comments about the crosswalk issue. And again, just to clarify, even though, and it's in the development agreement that it'll be, how the site plan shows it or how Pinellas County thinks it best is positioned. So that could, obviously from a staff point of view, we can be involved in that discussion about how we, feel the safety issues are, where it's best positioned. I do agree with one writer, just to comment on this, that we could make the current crosswalk safer. I mean, I just saw, just the other day, I was waiting and in the other lane, somebody just blew through it. And there were people walking across. So, and I don't know if that's an elevated, ramp there that we've talked about but yeah, because of the 4 lanes, it does, you do want it to be as safe as it possibly can be. How close is the one edge of the hotel to the Frenchie's Market? Is there enough buffer there? How does Frenchie's Market feel about it? Is it really, really close, or?
I believe the minimum setback is going to be 15 feet. So it has to be at least 15 feet away from that property line.
Okay.
That would be considered a side property line, and I believe in FXM, when you have a 3-story structure, it has to be 15 feet away.
Okay, but in your opinion, you don't have a sensitivity or concern about that?
No, I mean, we haven't gone through the full design review analysis yet, but
Right, fair
because obviously a lot of the questions
Yeah.
I'm hearing tonight are certainly going to be detailed in the staffing for that element of the project. But I think if you're asking what the minimum setback is, it's going to be 15 feet, I believe, to that east property line.
We also had another citizen comment that was about, they disagree with the project because we're going to take up Frenchie's parking, but we're not actually using Frenchie's parking, right? I mean, we're using the grass spot that is not used for anything right now, or the developer is. The other space is still going to be there for parking for Frenchie's.
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure we're clarifying it. And then my last question is, I guess I just want to reiterate what Commissioner Gao's question was, and this is to you, Nikki. This agreement, which has a 20-year duration, this development agreement, is completely tied to the agreement with the Toronto Blue Jays. They cannot be separated. I mean, it is intended and committed to be a Toronto Blue Jay hotel for those players. And if that separates during those 20 years, there's an issue, because they can't.
Right.
Okay, I just want to be very clear about that.
That is explicit and yes, that is explicitly required in the agreement.
With clarity that is.
Is explicitly required in the agreement.
Thank you
Because
for
I thought
asking
that
so
was-
much more clearly than
Well,
I.
and I understood, because I had the same issue, so I wanted to make sure we were both clear on it. So that's all I have right now.
Can I add to that? You mentioned earlier 10 years, which is our standard, but this is 20, so
It's 20.
I just want to make sure it is 20.
Let me go, I know, yes, it's 20. We actually changed it to reflect to, yes.
Commissioner Torga, any questions?
Thank you. Joey, I spent most of my time, agenda review time with the manager about this, with the questions that I had. I had read this in detail, and I just went back through it again, all of it, for about a couple hours this afternoon, just making sure. So my questions have either been asked or been answered, or I had very few. The only thing that we did discuss real briefly, and I'm a safety guy, was the crossing of the road. And comments were made not only by people that addressed this, that had written into us, but also by the LPA and other folks that had concerns. I'm sufficient at this point in time to wait for the design review, because there's been enough play in there that's saying we have to look at this, or we will look at this, and there will be a consideration. Did the Blue Jays have a requirement for that, or that's just a safety thing for them, correct? I mean, they wanted to make sure they could
I think it's an
safely get
overall
across.
safety thing, Commissioner. Yeah, I think everybody recognized that having an additional crosswalk at the Michael Place is where it's being anticipated. Obviously, as you mentioned, the county does have final say on where it goes. We've had initial discussions with the county about this, and and so far I think those have been helpful. But yeah, I think it's for the overall safety of everybody using sort of that area. You know, you've got connections to the sidewalk. You have a pretty heavily trafficked pedestrian area there, so I think everybody benefits from it, all users on both sides of the street.
And then I guess I want to remind all of us that we're going to be doing a lot of work out there in the next couple of years on that road. So there'll be some determinations that may affect changes to what we're even thinking about today, as we go through the intersection at Curlew and Alt 19, and then of course obviously when we do the bridge. So there'll be some serious considerations. But again, from a safety standpoint, you feel comfortable with what's been presented so far, and that you will look at it. Thank you.
Yes, from a staff perspective, we're confident that we can work with the applicant and the county and get a crosswalk in place that, of course, as you know, the developers agreed to design and install and at their expense. So we're confident we can get that accomplished.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Joey, what are our regulations about, like, the wall around the pool? And the reason I'm asking is I'm trying to figure out, does that have to be something in the development agreement? And I don't know that or not, so it's what I'm asking you.
Well, you've got a number of safety requirements, obviously, around a public swimming pool. The other part of this that I think that the applicant needs to meet is in the FXM, we have a dimensional, or not a dimensional, we have a code provision that talks about having 80% of sort of your facade of your building, 80% of the lot width. So you want to carry things like walls and areas, and this may be an opportunity for them to maybe do artwork along it to make it more attractive, or whatever the case may be. But there's a requirement that you can't have big gaps without sort of having that frontage, and I think that wall along with the building, the way it lays out, sort of gets them where they need to be. And I think they also, as I recall, one of the concerns was during the authorization to the city manager was they wanted the building to pull it a little bit away from the street, to have it not so overwhelming the sidewalks. I think they tried to do that. I think that's what the goal was here, was to both meet the code and sort of meet the comments that I heard, or that they heard.
Yeah, so.
But I know they have to
you didn't
put
answer my
safety
question
fencing
about the
around.
wall.
I think they have to put safety fencing around the pool, and by doing that, they're also
And the
accomplishing.
safety fencing is it required to be like a concrete type thing?
There's usually just a height limitation. It doesn't necessarily have to be a material, no.
Okay. Okay. Because I know Deborah will remember this, Vice Mayor will remember this. We had another project that was on the causeway where they were going to build a wall, and a lot of people had, I don't remember the project, but I think it was on the north side of causeway, and it didn't go over well, let's just put it that way. Big blank wall. I don't remember how it resolved, and I don't remember what the project was. I just remember there was a lot of people on the causeway that were upset about that big wall, because it just was ugly. So that's why I'm trying to determine, again, I understand we're going to design review right now. We're just talking, again, about the development agreement, and all of that's going to be taken care of, but I know these guys are in a hurry, and I don't want to wait till they come back for me to tell them that I don't want a big ugly wall out there. So,
You probably got that.
You know what, I think.
I agree, too.
Can I say one, I think that what you're talking about, they eventually went to an iron fence, that you could, is that what you're sort of talking about?
I think
mean,
that is what they ended up doing at the other project, but I don't know that that works, and I'm not saying, I mean, it could be a mural, I don't know, on the wall, I don't know, I just want to make sure that whatever it is, it's not big and ugly like that.
Mayor, may I?
Yes.
We can certainly work with the applicant. They did mention some public art component on the wall or the fencing, which of course would have to go through the public art committee for their half percentage point of the construction cost. So we hear you loud and clear on the wall. We'll make sure it's aesthetically pleasing.
Okay. All right, that was the question I had for the moment. So come on down, Doug, our applicant. Anything that you want to discuss with us, and then I know that others might have questions for you.
Well, thank you very much for allowing us to speak again this evening. Since we were here last in October, we did get both parcels, ours now free and clear. So we own both pieces, so there's no ambiguity there between those. I'd like to start out by thanking Jennifer for all the work that she did in helping us negotiate this, and the staff, and Joey and George, instrumental in helping do it. Then I'd also like to thank Nikki and Ann Anderson, our attorney from our side, for all the work they did on negotiating it together and getting it written. The wall was put into that because the requirement right now in the city code is that 80% of our frontage has to be either building or a continuous wall on Causeway Boulevard. So what we thought we'd do is we'd use that wall as the art object and the art contribution, so that would not be a concrete wall. What would be in front of that wall, and I'd be happy not to build the wall because it'd be less expensive for me, but we put that in there as to meet the city code requirement. But what would be on the front of that wall would be laser cut in metal art. The Blue Jays have given us a couple of ideas of what they'd like to see. Skyline of Toronto, some baseball themed things, some Dunedin themed things, some Honeymoon Island themed things that would be backlit with blue lights from the backside. So when you drove through there, you'd see this, you wouldn't see any concrete at all, you'd see aluminum, 4x8, 4x10 sheets of aluminum that make up the full facade covering that wall with art etched into it by laser and then backlit. If we think that that's not what wants to be there, and we can still meet the codes that the city has for our coverage along Causeway Boulevard, we'd be more than happy to do so. We listened very carefully in the October meeting about some of the concerns, so we took the pool that was in the back of it and we moved it to the front. And we really cut down on the density in front because we had one big building there right on the front that was close to the sidewalk. So we were able to redo the site to move it completely back. We now have, I think the setback requirements are either it's 2 feet to 17 feet, and majority of that is back to 12 or 13 feet, where it was right on top of the sidewalk in the first iteration. And then we cut down the size of the building on the front so that it's much, much smaller, and moved that, and we're able to put some heavy landscaping in front of it. So our concept was to start the art basically on the far left where the parking is, all the way up and around the wall, and then continue it on the other side, so you would never see any cars. You would see nothing but an art element all along the front. We also listened to
a comment that was made that we didn't want to have just one long contiguous building at the rear. So we broke that into 3 buildings, and we made definite definitions so it does not look like it's just one long building on the rear. And I'd just like to remind the commission it's a 100% solar powered product. It'll be the first building, I think, in the city that is that way, that's done that way. On our agreement with the Blue Jays, we have signed a 25-year agreement with the Blue Jays. So there's good teeth in the agreement. I would be remiss if I tried to go get this financed with only having a 5-year lease. So we have a full 25-year agreement with the team. As far as the cars go, there will be opportunities for us to sell rooms when the Blue Jays aren't using them. Those people will have cars. When we did the initial traffic study with certified Florida traffic engineer, when we had just the Causeway parking, just the Causeway car wash site, the parking between that and the 51-room hotel that we originally presented to you was negligible. It was 2 operations a day difference between those two. When we add the 0.4 acres and we added the extra rooms, when you look at it as if the Blue Jays weren't there and this was a full-up hotel, the traffic increase is slightly higher than it was with the car wash today. But that piece would not stay vacant forever. Something would be eventually built there. As far as the crosswalk goes, the crosswalk was a requirement that we agreed to in negotiations with the city that we would fund design. But I got to tell you, none of these crosswalks are 100% safe. They just aren't. I mean, I bike all the time on the trail, and especially on Skinner, you know, you'll have one car stop and the guy will go zooming right by in the other lane. So we would use the technology that's available to us. There is the ability to put lights, flashing lights embedded in the street, along with flashing lights on a stanchion. I think that's about as far as the technology has taken us today yet on how to make those as safe as we can, but we're very, very interested in that. The letter that you had, Commissioner, I think she was confused. She thought we were building it on the other side of the street because she thought we were taking the parking away from Frenchie's overflow. And the other reason why that crosswalk is probably going to be necessary is when Frenchie did the seafood concept right immediately to our east, now he has a lot more land. His employees are going to be parking there, and they are parking there. So they need to cross to get to the restaurant, to get to work as well. We want to make sure that the baseball players, when they have the 3 or 4 nights a week that they go out to grab a bite or go to Publix or go to the restaurants that are in the local area, we want them to be able to do it safely. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions you may have, but that covers the wall. It was always designated to be an art object.
Gotcha. Okay, any questions for Doug? No?
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
So you're committed to do the best, safest, I'm not talking about the Taj Mahal of pedestrian crosswalks, but you're committed to, even if it is the lighting or a little bit of a raised thing, you're committed to whatever that cost is.
Can you tell me what a little bit of a raised might be?
We don't know.
Yeah, I could not tell you. That would be up to the traffic engineer, but still, I just want to make sure you're good if it costs a little bit more than what's out there now.
We will make it as safe as the technology allows us.
Great.
Commissioner,
Thank you.
I'll try to help him out a little bit. Having spent some time with the county previously, the way they classify that roadway, it may not allow for a raised.
Okay,
Yeah, I was going to question that as well.
okay. Yeah, so people can just, phew, right, okay.
But they might allow for the lights in the
Yes.
pavement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
then, I mean, if you do it there, then we got to do it at the other ones.
Well, most of the I
saying.
can tell you this.
Got to be consistent.
Most of the municipalities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area have all gone to flashing lights in the pavement along with 2 stanchions that have flashing lights. Very similar to what we have in the city today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tonga, any questions for Doug?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Doug.
You bet.
I don't have any questions.
All right, Charlie would like to say just a couple.
Come
words.
on down, Charlie.
Thank you. Hi, Mayor. How are you?
Hi.
Hello, everybody on the commission. Thank you for having me. I can't tell you how delighted I'm to be here. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's -3 in Toronto.
Oh, it has everything to do with that.
But I'll keep my remarks brief because I've spoken on some of these issues before, and then also an opportunity to answer some questions, and I'll answer Jeff's question first when I get to that. But really happy to be here and just confirm the Blue Jays' commitment to number one, Dunedin, and all of our players and staff are obviously very optimistic, looking forward to continuing our great partnership. We've got the new facility. It's 110,000 square feet. It's state-of-the-art. It's got all the amenities. And now the final piece of the puzzle is the residence, the dormitory, the hotel, if you will. This will be a primary importance for us. We've spoken about the importance of rest and recovery for the athlete to prepare them for the next day, but the athletes want to live in Dunedin. Everybody wants to be here. We want to be home. We want to contribute to the community. We want to contribute to the economy. And there's ways through outreach and participation for the young players, which we're looking forward to being involved in and involved more. And by living here and staying in the hotel, we'll be able to do that more. Obviously, the economic piece, we all know we want to contribute to the restaurants, shops, stores, and be able to go for dinner, order dinner, go to the grocery stores here in Dunedin. So that's a key. Our commitment to development is unchanged. As I said, the players deserve to have the best housing in order to help them develop. We all know the benefits there. And our vision is to make the best residence for the players to stay in. We've got a blank canvas to build the inside of the hotel once we get to that point. Doug and his team have done an amazing job of putting together initial plans of what the individual bedrooms are going to look like and what the shared workspace and accommodation is, or the shared workspace, living space is going to be, including a warming kitchen, including areas for meetings, ping pong, pool tables, what have you. So I don't want to get too long-winded, and I definitely want to be able to answer questions to the group. I think I'll just jump into Jeff's, Commissioner Gao's question regarding the cars. So essentially, this hotel will be for the lower-level minor league players, the first-year, second-year, third-year players, and that group of players is made up of guys that are drafted out of high school or their junior or senior year of college, and also international players. So we bring over a big group from the Caribbean, mostly Dominican and Venezuela. And I'll say our current program right now, heading into minor league spring training, we'll have over 30% of our players are international. So the first year players, this is public information, their first year salary under a minor league contract is $400 a week. And the second year...
could almost be a city commissioner.
No, they're making more than we are.
Yeah, I was going to say they are.
So I guess what I'm trying to tell everybody here, and perhaps people that are watching, is that these players are not paid particularly well when you consider the expenses associated with real life living. Of course, they don't have the expenses because we're paying for their accommodations, we're paying for their meals, we're paying for their transportation to and from the ballpark. But on $400 a week, typically they're not going out and buying cars, and they can't afford to have a car down here. I will say when players get a little bit older, they're in their maybe 5th or 6th year of minor league service and have played at the AAA level. They may be in their mid-20s by this point. They may be married. They have permission at that point to live out of the hotel. So the older, more mature players who have permission to live out of the hotel, they will have cars in some cases, but they wouldn't be living here. So the minor league players that have cars wouldn't be at this hotel. We will have bus travel back and forth. We've talked about that at length. The one thing I did want to address is in one of the renderings, you saw the bus parked in the hotel. That's not going to be the case. The bus will be parked at our facility on Garrison Road all day. It will come to the Causeway probably 5 or 8 minutes before pickup, so it's not going to be sitting there idling. The bus will come in, guys will get on it, it'll leave.
Now, you're going to have staff, though, that are going to be at the hotel that might have cars. You're going to have a car.
Right, I do ride my bike to work from the Causeway.
Well, but...
And we are encouraging that. We will encourage the players to take bicycles when we can. But there may be, there won't be a lot of staff because we're down to a 68-room hotel. Ideally, we'll have four 4 staff members there.
And they'll have cars.
Yes, they're permitted to, whether they take the bus or car.
And anybody that comes and does bring food for warming, they're going to have some kind of van or a car.
Yes, there would be a van. Typically, it's one big van or
And
a
any
bus.
maintenance people, so, does that,
Yeah, I just want the residents to have that expectation of, you know, I don't want to say there won't be any cars and all of a sudden we get a bunch of complaints because of maintenance and those. So thank you for that.
but we are talking about 2 months out of the year you're not using it, right?
Correct.
And so during that 2 months, it's going to be like a short-term rental. And there will be cars there, but you're going to have the appropriate accommodation. And that's usually in the months of October, November, December timeframe?
November, December, and
November and
maybe
December.
early January. I will say this year, our program started on January 13th. We've got 40 players here right now. And we'll go right through the middle of November to Thanksgiving, and then a smaller group comes in for the last 2 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions for Charlie? Vice Mayor, any questions for Charlie?
So I just want to go back over that. So for 2 months, it is open to the public, for sure. Is it actually 2 months? Because it seems like with your rotation, that it would not be a lot of time that you all weren't in pretty full occupancy. I'm just, so is it going to be 2 months, or is it more of a rolling stock, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think our programs, our off-season programs do continue to evolve. But what I can tell you is we will have very limited use from the middle of November till early January. What I mean by that is we would take up to 20 rooms. So then the remaining rooms would be open to the public during that time period.
And as a hotel, it would be a short-term rent, or as a hotel.
It's straight hotel. Doug would have to speak to that, but it's not a VRBO or short-term.
Yeah.
It's a hotel, and it'll be run by a professional.
I actually didn't mean to say that. I didn't want to go there, but it is a hotel. Thank you.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
No,
Commissioner?
I don't have any. Thank you, Charlie.
Questions? No.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions either, thank
Okay,
you.
thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you.
Everybody. Great.
Mayor, I do have a comment, if I can.
Well, I want to, you're going to have an opportunity to do comments, so can I open
But it's
it?
not an overall comment.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, just feeling uncomfortable. I was thinking about this is going to be quasi-judicial. And I did have a conversation with Doug Anderson on July 20th. And I just want to make that public. And I'm sorry it's coming late in this meeting.
This is not a quasi judicial decision.
I know.
That will be disclosed when you do any quasi judicial decisions on design. So as I always, remember, those are discouraged.
I get
Please
that.
keep notes of who, what, when, and that will be disclosed when you do the quasi judicial hearing.
Okay.
Thank you.
I get that. I'm just feeling uncomfortable knowing that in my head. So, okay, if it's not the appropriate time, then
You're welcome to disclose who, what, when now, but you're going to do it again at the start of those hearings. so.
that's fine. I just didn't want it to come out after we had a meeting tonight, regardless of whether the legalities. I don't want the residents to think something different.
Understood.
You know, so yeah, just had a conversation on July 20th. I was walking from City Hall, meeting a resident downtown. I was walking down Grant Street, and he is involved with the hotel that's the project there. And we got into a good conversation about that project. And it just kind of blended into this project without even realizing it. We didn't really talk any detail. We didn't talk about egress. We didn't talk about density. We didn't talk about anything, just the generalities of the LPA, you know, and listening to that. But I just want to let everybody know that that happened. But any vote that I take, any decision I make is based on the information and the facts and testimony that I'm hearing tonight and in the future. So thank you it was bothering me, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now is time for the public to come forward and speak, so give us your name and address for the record, and then each person will get 3 minutes. The clock's above my head. Who wants to come down first? Come on, Ken.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. As a day one employee for the Blue Jays, I just guess wanted to get my 2 cents worth in. This facility that you have here is second to none. I've seen them all in Arizona. I've seen them all in Florida. And this, as Mr. Wilson said, would just be the last piece of the puzzle. I know you'll do the right thing, but I just wanted to get my 2 cents worth in and have a good evening. Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you,
can I
Ken.
get your name, please?
I'm sorry, Ken Carson, C-A-R-S-O-N,
Thank you.
Lillian's husband.
Thank you, Ken. Okay. Who else would like to come forward? Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Give us your name and address for the record.
Steve Barsnick, 478 Michigan Avenue in Palm Harbor, but I can look out my window and see Dunedin. So I'm just want to say fully support this, that the opportunity to anchor, even more anchor, the Blue Jays here with us. And as far as having extra hotel rooms over Christmas and getting more people to spend money in Dunedin, the area, I'm thrilled for that.
Thank you. Okay, who's next? It's got to be somebody else. Come on down.
Hello there.
Hello.
Mark Maurer, M-A-U-R-E-R, 2602 Bayshore Boulevard. Got it?
Got it.
Excellent. Hello there. Business partner, partner and restaurant owner in Dunedin at that address, as well as another restaurant in Pinellas Park. Being a transplant of over a decade now, things like the Blue Jays, and sorry, I'm a Phillies guy, Phillies fans.
Okay, you have to
Hey, we
stop.
need the Phillies too. Yeah, we do.
I still get 93, man. But anyway, but things like that brought me down here to visit, and in turn got me and my wife to move down here and now employ 60 plus people. And things like this do bring revenue to the area. They're vital to getting people down here. Dunedin, a beautiful town, beautiful city, and getting people down here to walk around and getting to the causeway is a great vital thing to us. And being a restaurant owner on the causeway, yes, I'm trying to get revenue down that way, but I am tired of seeing people come visit, go to Honeymoon Island, drive back to Clearwater Beach and spend money there. I'd rather keep the revenue there. The parking thing and all that stuff aside, I will say adding another restaurant in front of the Hampton would be 300 to 400 cars a day versus this hotel. So just want to let them know. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys vote that way, but we're just excited about it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Come on down. Yep. Hi, welcome. Name and address for the record?
Lori Batters, 795 San Christopher Drive. So a lot of you already know that I was a big component in wanting the Blue Jays to stay here in Dunedin. That project started 5 years ago, and I feel like this is the icing on the cake, to give them a place to stay, that they're comfortable. I've been asked by young players that maybe you're making a little bit more money to stay in one of our Airbnbs, and when I tell them the price, they're like, oh, there's no way. So, and we're not that expensive, but it's just you know their salary.
Yeah.
So I just want this to happen for our city. Our city is all about baseball. Thank you.
Lori. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Go on.
Hi, my name is Christian, 821 Willow Branch Avenue. I'm a student at SPC in the public policy program, and I'm doing a case study on this first reading ordinance. And to be honest, most of the stuff that I had researched goes beyond just the development agreement, which I learned tonight, so this is going to be very short. I'd just like to say that from what I've read, that I'm convinced of the good partnership between Dunedin and the Blue Jays organization by the compromise on 68 rooms and the organization committing to Dunedin for the future. Also, I want to say that the contractors seem very open to changing things around and stuff like that, being open to comment from the commission. Most of the stuff I said will be that I had left would be for the formal design review process, so that's all I have for now.
Well,
Thank
come
you for
on
your
back.
time.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Good job. I hope your professor gives you a good grade. I don't know if you guys know, but we get a lot of these guys come forward on our items because we really like having them. Anyone else wish to come down and speak to this item? Okay, we'll come back to the commission. I am going to ask Nikki to read the ordinance.
Ordinance number 2202, an ordinance of the City of Dunedin, Florida, approving and authorizing execution of a development agreement between the city and Grant Street Partners Dunedin LLC as successor in interest to Coastal ICF Construction Services, Inc., Grant Street Partners LLC, and Kelly Long Tri as trustee of the Kelly Long Tri Revocable Trust and providing for an effective date. This has been reading of ordinance 2202 by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Vice Mayor Kynes and Commissioner Franny. Thank you.
Commissioner Franny, would you prefer to make that because you are the liaison?
I'd love to.
Okay, you do it, and
Yeah,
I'll second.
I'd like to move approval.
Okay, Commissioner Franny and Vice Mayor Kynes. All right, Commissioner Franny, final comments.
Well, you know, some individuals in the community have followed this. Don't you hate that with masks? How they
I know.
stick,
It always gets caught.
Guys don't have that problem. Well, some guys, I guess, wear earrings. But anyway, you know, I just want to say, I mean, this is something I wrote down here. I think you all came to us first with the south side of the street, one property, and then that didn't work out. So then you went to the north side of the street in front of Hampton, and that didn't work out. So then you came back to the south side of the street with one property, and that didn't work out. And then you had the patience to come back and say, okay, north side of the property, north side of the street, two properties. And again.
South side of the street.
South side of the street with two properties, right, thank you. And of course, you're not getting all the units you want. You're getting 7 less than you want. We're probably given a few more than we want, but it's, I feel comfortable with where we've landed. I think it's a good balance. I think you've worked hard to get it here. You've shown a lot of patience to get it here. In some ways, I think the biggest reason you're still here is because of the Toronto Blue Jays' huge commitment to be here in Dunedin. And that's a great thing. It's been a great partnership, and I'm glad you've been patient because obviously we have a whole different job that we have to do to make sure we're making good decisions for the rest of the population. I think we struck a great balance here. I'm very supportive of it. I think it will be a very exciting project.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor?
Yes, well, I echo her comments. We have had, you've been here since the 70s now, right? You're getting on in age. Teasing, teasing. You know, it has been a very strong partnership, and it has brought a lot. I mean, it's pretty amazing if you consider that we are the hometown for Toronto. I mean, that we have, Toronto has spring training here, international. And so, you know, I didn't like it on the other side. I'm just going to tell you. And so I know you've gone through a lot of iterations here, and you have worked hard. I like it on this side. I think it's a better fit. Of course, you know me, I'm very excited about the public art, and I think that if you do that sculptural type with the uplighting, it could be beautiful. So, you know, it's always interesting to me to learn about, you know, a sport, and that you have these really young players. And so you need that type atmosphere, you know, because you're sort of parentis, what is it? Parentis in loco, you know, you're. Loco, you got it. Okay, that's exactly what I meant. But you are acting as their parents. So,
Crazy parent.
and so I do think it's going to be a good project, and thank you for your patience. You've worked very hard. What is it?
Nothing.
He was saying that the Spanish translation of that is a little bit different than the Latin translation.
Don't tell us then.
Okay, so you mean I got something messed up? Well,
No, no.
No, you
got
had it.
right.
You had it right. We were just clarifying that you didn't mean crazy parents.
Well, you never know. No, our crazy parents on Zoom.
Uh-oh.
I'm watching, Mayor, I'm watching.
Yeah. Okay, Commissioner Torga, final comments?
Most of what was said here, I agree with, exclusive of what side of the street it should be on. I don't need to go into that at all. I'm just real pleased that we're along this far, and I'm looking forward to see the next steps. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gao?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Yeah, I agree with everybody here. This is such, to me, a unique opportunity. I don't know how many other baseball teams have this sort of business model or concept, but the idea of having your spring training, your professional complex and housing here for baseball players is just, I think, a phenomenal and unique idea. I love the partnership. All that I've ever heard, anything that we've ever done with the Blue Jays has been such a strong commitment on both parties and such a unique business partnership. I know that there's all kinds of stuff out there about we're overdeveloping and concerns that we're changing, but I really am all about balance, and I really do think that this does fit with who we are as a community and how it fits within our community. So it's exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I've been listening to what everybody's been saying, and of course, today, I want to make sure everybody understands that we are not approving the project today. We're far from that yet. We are simply approving the development agreement. So all of the design and all the traffic analysis and the crosswalk and the public art and all of that stuff still has to go through its normal process, and will come back to us, and we'll get to critique it all over again. But having said that, I was listening to what everybody had to say, and I was remembering when I first became mayor in 2014, that was a Tuesday. On that Friday was the first day we met with, it was the first time Toronto Blue Jays leadership met with us to negotiate the agreement we have now. So we're in 2022. And at that time, and then Mark Shapiro came on board, and one of the things that Mark Shapiro said was, we are going to be a 365-day-a-week operation in your city. And, we would always hear people, well, they're only here for 6 weeks out of the year. Why are we spending all this money? And he was completely committed. No, we're here. This is where we're going to, a lot of us are going to live. This is where we're going to rehab all of our players. And at that time, they had 7 teams. Not just the major league, but like 6 or 7 other minor league teams, and that this was where they were going to be, and this proves it. So it's just one more thing. Their U.S. base of operation is right here in Dunedin, and it's a major employer as well. So I'm very happy that we can get to this point. Another great benefit is bed tax. I will tell you, and that gets attached to hotels. And that bed tax goes to Visit St. Pete Clearwater, it's a county entity, and it gets spent on beach renourishment, and it gets spent on capital items that attract tourism or improve the quality of life in Pinellas County. The $40 million we got for that stadium was from bed tax, which is what people pay in a hotel. And I know that 90% of people that stay in hotels don't live in Pinellas County. So that's a huge benefit. And then the creativity of this being on the causeway and having such a smaller amount of vehicle traffic that it could be is also a real benefit to all of Dunedin, but to the causeway itself. I think the point that you made, Commissioner Franey, that something is going to get built there. Something, and it's going to, and you can't say no because of the traffic. our legislature stopped us from being able to say no because of traffic, unfortunately. And many of our major roads in Pinellas County are F or D rated. But we are not legally allowed to say no because of traffic. So I think we've definitely come up with the best balance. Definitely looking forward to, the artwork. I will say, not that it's any of my business at this point, but I'd rather tell you now than later. I love the idea of the metal, but just remember there's a lot of sun out there, and sun can shine in driver's eyes. And so that metal, I worry about that. So I just throw that out to you. Definitely make that wall pretty. When you come back, it would be great, that picture that you showed us that we all hadn't seen yet. If you can give that same perspective on all four sides versus being up here, I think that would be great, if that's possible. And I think that's it. I will ask Joey in the future, maybe we can talk about this 80% frontage coverage on the causeway.
Sure.
I think we would all probably like to understand what does that mean, because I don't think we have a rule like that anywhere else.
Certainly, we can look at that. It's driven by the FXM zoning. It's part of the form-based zoning.
Let's talk about that, because that almost forces you to have to be one big, long building. And we're all saying we don't want that. So you and Jennifer and George and all talk about that, because as soon as you said that, I was like, well, I believe you that it's a rule, but isn't that taking us in a direction we don't want to be? So.
No, understood.
So let's take a look at that, not for this project, but for future.
Well, I was just going to say, but I'll bet it was fun for Doug to come up and say, we didn't necessarily like it either, but it's your fault. It's not our fault.
Well, and sometimes that's how we find out about things that we don't want anymore, because we change.
Right.
We change, we evolve, we hear what our residents say and what they want, and they don't want one big, long building, which is why we did the back and forth. So.
And I think there'll be, just even from our workshop, there's a lot of things we're going to be looking at.
Yeah.
With things like that, have a bad effect. They might sound good, but.
Okay. All right, so thank you, Jennifer, for a good job of the negotiation. All the parties involved. ACL Shelby snuck in somewhere. I didn't see it earlier. Welcome.
He's the one that took note that our name tags are opposite.
Did he text you?
Yeah. He sent me a thing.
Well, that's why you ended up getting my paperwork on your desk.
Exactly, because I have the mayor's nameplate in front of my name.
Who are you?
Okay, so let's do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Gao,
Aye.
Commissioner Torga,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kynes,
Aye.
Commissioner Franny,
Aye.
Mayor Bujalski.
Aye, and that motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We will see you soon. Thanks for all the hard work. Thanks for being flexible with us. It ain't over yet. Stay up on your game.
Take care of that lockout.
Thank you, guys. You guys can leave. You don't have to stick around to be polite. Just kind of be quiet as you're exiting. And thanks for everybody who came out and spoke. All right.
It cracked me up.
Then we have the.
I think the mayor is sounding so smart tonight. If you look at the name tag. And
Shush up. Hey, your time's coming. Your time's coming, girl. Okay, so our last item on the agenda is the agenda for our February 17th meeting, and that is where we will have that. Is there a second reading on the development agreement? Okay, because there wasn't a note here for me to read. So, okay, there will be a second reading of ordinance 22-02.
And then on that item, do you want that first because of the resident input? Or I know normally you like first readings first, and
Yes.
we do have a
No.
historic.
I want
landmark.
this first.
That's why it's there, but I
because
wanted
it'll
to
take the
confirm that with
longest.
you. Okay.
Yes, please, thank you. So, and then we also have the Toronto Blue Jays opening day proclamation, hopefully. And the historic designation for 255 Garden. All right. any other changes that we know of at this point?
Can we add on the chapter 86 ORC amendment that I sent you to the marina? That's the, remember we talked about there 8 and there was like 7 with issues and questions. There's one
That can just go through real quick?
It's, yes, it's
Okay.
changing the word renter in the word to user.
Okay.
Because that's.
Everybody's okay with that? It's still just 3 public hearings, so, which is what our limit is.
Yes, and I, because you instructed to bring it on the Thursday, when I saw that, I just thought I might.
Yep, now sneak it in, because the second reading should go a little bit quicker.
And
And the historical thing will be quick and,
Nope, I can add that for sure.
right?
Thank you so
Deborah?
much,
The
Commissioner.
historical thing will be quick?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay. All right, so we'll add that on. So with that, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Franny and Vice Mayor Kynes, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you for watching this City of Dunedin government meeting. If you'd like to review any part of this meeting or watch any previous government meeting coverage, you can watch these meetings online anytime through the city's website, dunedingov.com. Stay connected with everything Dunedin. Follow the city on this channel and on the city's Facebook page, through Twitter, and on the city's YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching this Dunedin television production.